Hey, what's up everybody? This is Joshua Casper. I'm here with Plugin Boutique, and today we're taking a look at the RC-20 Retro Color plugin. This is a really great plugin for multiple effect filter type situations, and also just adding old school retro color and warmth and distortion to your sounds in general. If you're making things like trip hop or hip hop, this is a really great plug for you. Or if you're making acoustic music that you want to sound vintage, again, really great for you. However, for me, I think the best thing about this plugin, beyond the fact that you have so many great sounding effects, is the magnitude slider up here, which essentially turns this into a one knob situation where this one slider affects multiple parameters at the same time. You can change those parameters, how they sound at the end and how they sound at the beginning, and really dial in your sound, but you have what ends up being a really great filter effect. So I'm gonna go ahead and play you what I have set up right here, and then we're gonna go ahead and rebuild it. So as you can see, it kind of went from a nice, clean, modern sounding loop into a more vintage, filtered out, washy type sound, and we could go back and forth. So I'm gonna go back into the initial patch, and we have 6 different effects. We'll go ahead and turn them on just so we can see here. These are the 6 effects. We're not going to use them all right now, but they all sound really great. Essentially what we have is a noise generator, something like a wall type filter right here, regular saturation distortion, we have digital distortion, we have a nice, really nice sounding reverb, and then there's the magnetic effect. I'm going to go ahead and turn these all off for a second, and we're going to jump down to the filter. Now, the filter is what I usually adjust first because I want to know where my sound's going to go. And what we do is activate the filter, and now we can adjust where we're going to filter to. So it's kind of like a band pass filter essentially, and you can adjust the band arms down here. So we have the low cut and the high cut, and we can kind of focus in on a certain frequency range using these. And we also have 2 different curves for each of the ends of the filter here. So I'm going to go ahead and choose this mode, and I'm going to go ahead and leave that mode right there. And what I'm going to do is turn on the magnitude all the way so I can hear the final result of the sound. So as you can hear, it's essentially just a filter at this point. So okay, let's just say we want that to be the final frequency range to be allowed to pass through the filter. That's great. Now let's start adding some effects. I'm going to add the noise generator, and I'm going to turn the noise up as high as I want it to go in the end. Okay, and let's add some saturation distortion. And this is going to be the amount of the distortion, but we also have the ability to focus in on a certain frequency range to add the distortion to. So let's say we don't want the low end to be really distorted at any point in time. We can choose to do that right here on this slider. Okay, so I've settled in on the tube pair, but obviously there are a number of different types of saturation that we can use. And let's jump over to the digital and add just a little bit. And for these two effects, you might see that there's a mix option available, and that is because you might want to adjust the mix overall, but then use this parameter to only be involved with the magnitude plugin, because this is going to set the range at which the magnitude plugin will be applied, and this is the actual mix between the dry and the wet signal passing through the effect. So that's something to keep in mind. And the last thing I'm going to add is a little bit of space or reverb, just to add a little bit more character and depth to the final result. Okay, so that sounds really good. And now what we have is a multi-effect filtering system that we can control with one knob, and I really like that. Let's go ahead and play it. And one thing that we might do, because you could hear that it gets louder as we're filtering, you might not want that. A way to fix that would be to adjust the mix levels of these distortion modules. As you can hear, it's sounding a lot better. It's not getting louder as we're filtering things out, which kind of messes up the perception a little bit. But you can obviously come in and dial those in. And there are a few more parameters that I didn't get to cover in this tutorial. But if you're into vintage sound or you're into one knob multi-effects, I highly recommend this plugin. RC-20 Retro Color is really cool. Anyway, I hope you learned something. We'll see you next time.